Hi, this is Joe the Tarot Guy, and we'll be doing a reading for Cinnamon Chick. And she says she'd like to have some insight on how to proceed in her life. So we're going to be doing a layout, old Gypsy family layout, that uses, in this first set of readings, is using the court cards. That's your page, would be the page, knight, queen, and a king, and we'll be using the ace cards. The aces are seeds. The pages are message carriers, kind of like rapid communicators. The queen is, of course, she's the queen. She's the mommy, and she wants her family happy. And then the king is all about maintaining integrity in the kingdom. That's his task and role. So in this question here about having a process such as proceed in life, let's find out exactly what we're looking at. So we've dealt the cards a few times, and right now I'm just random shuffling, trying to get the groups that we've seen kind of separated. Okay. And we're going to do this layout that will first show the headship. So the situation that we're working with at the moment is regarding the seed of mammon, or money. That's pentacles. So we'll do a right leg over here and a left leg. And so we have a king and a knight. The way in which we do the readings for our cards is quite a bit different than the New Age modern method. So when you see a card that's upside down, that means diminished. It doesn't mean evil or something like this. So it's a diminished reading. So we'll go ahead and get to the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is we have a dissatisfied queen with finances in the house. So that's kind of what that's showing. And we'll get the left arm put on, which is the Page of Cups, and that's your emotions. There's Cinnamon Chick, and we have the Knight of Cups, and he is really the champion. The Knight is the champion. He goes forth in the public, and he's the public eye of how the kingdom is doing. And let's take a look at what we have here. This is actually a pretty good layout. Let's see how you should proceed, is what your question is. How you should proceed. So let's find out where you are and what's going on, so that we could say how you should proceed. So it looks to me like there are emotions that are balanced on the left and right side. You're coming from the communication of emotions, perhaps. It looks like there could be finances that we're looking at. You have the seed of some finances, and then you have a dissatisfied heart at home about the finances. The process is going from this position to this position emotionally. And that's what we're looking at is emotions. So the champion of emotions and good warm feelings, a good attitude, a good mindset, a good healthy inside working part of you is where this direction is going. That's what that's about in this particular layout. The base of the situation are the two legs that walk you. So the left leg is a fighting knight. He has his sword drawn. He's rushing madly, and the clouds are angry looking. The trees are blowing. So he's rushing into something, and it looks to me like he is dissatisfied. There is some kind of left-footed destructive member that has taken place. And it's interesting because we've drawn a King of Wands who happens to be a king, and he is about building projects. His goal is to build and to have a stabilized kingdom. We see that this king happens to be looking to his right over his right side. And while he is looking to the right, we see that a little lizard has snuck in. So it's interesting too because the king appears to be looking at the queen. So there's kind of a building project manager. That's what this one represents, this king. And then this queen, she wants the finances and everybody at home to be satisfied, and it's not working. So we have emotions that are somewhat balanced, but we have some dissatisfactory on the management, upper echelon of management that's taking place. It is good to see that you have as the foundation for you in this, there is a king of stability, and that's what he is about. However, there's something he's not paying attention to. So let's just say this is the start of your process, like where you are in some aspect, and then how is this supposed to help you in the process of life. So what am I? You want some insight on how to proceed in your life. At this time, what we're seeing is to firm up the differences between the seed. This is your head. This is called the headship. This is the heart of the matter. And these are the arms or the hands that do the work of you. And these are the legs that do the work of you, the legs and the feet that do the work of you. So at this position, the two cards that are dissatisfied, we have one female and one male, and we have a monetary, and we have a deep intellect dealing more with the psyche. So he's rushing in on the psyche side to talk to the building manager over here side. So I would see that how to proceed is to firm up these two points, these two issues at the moment, and that is the security of you as a female, or the female aspect of you in this insight. So there's a heart of the matter is the money issue is upside down, and the warning that's taking place with some psychic. I don't want to say psychic tragedy, perhaps, but there is definitely something that's going on that the Cup of Knights is somewhat counteracting. So this may be a little bit that they are not paying attention to these three that are not all on the same page. So could be a duplicitous kind of relationship that I see. So let's go ahead and do the next reading. The next reading is going to take these what are called the Arcana, the major Arcana cards, and we're going to do the same kind of reading, and we'll see what we have from what are called the powers level. So we have the human level, then we have the principalities level, that's these princes, principalities, and then we have the powers, and that are the gods and so forth for our upper arcana, or major arcana as some read. So let's take a look and see how they go, and we'll be down here in just a bit for you. I'm using an old school Rider-Waite copy. I like to collect cards. I have probably 20 or 30 different decks. I have some old collector's decks that I use now and then. And this happens to be a replica, the Centennial replica of the Rider-Waite, which I think is a most perfect deck. You see some spots on my cards, and that's because I have multiple decks, and there's a particular method that we use where the cards are all intermingled, so I can get these cards back in their deck. You'll see they have the same marks. This particular set of cards happens to be three stripes. So they're not marked, they don't mean anything for your reading other than they all belong in the same deck. It's okay. Okay, so here we go. One more, and let's take a look and see what we have in our relationship. Okay, the head of this situation happens to be the Chariot. Now this is, as we see here, let's put him, get him back where he belongs. This is Joseph on the Chariot. This is a very black and white type of card. We see a lot of black and white showing. It's a card of movement. It's a card of diminished or dissatisfied movement. It does happen to have the heavens above him in this hoopah. That's part of his chariot covering. He has some towns behind him, so he is perhaps traveling from those towns to you or to another town. We'll see how this works out. Okay, so we have a bondage card. That's the devil, and we see that the two beings down here are in bondage, apparently on their own. It doesn't look like they're trying to escape, and they're just kind of hanging out. This one here has his tail on fire, and this one's growing fruit. There's deep meaning in that, but for the moment, we don't see that the devil is doing anything to keep them in bondage other than the fact that they have somehow chained themselves to him, and therefore the bondage is there, but it's diminished. So we have some travel and bondage, and let's take a look here to see what this card is all about. So we have some diminished love that has taken place, and so far that's a duplicitous showing. There's a duplicitous showing here. There's a duplicitous showing here. So we have some relationship of twos going on, and then we have an upside down of the Hanged Man. So our first four cards are interesting in the fact that they are all upside down. Generally, the Hanged Man is an alternative view. So the alternative view has been skewed. And this is to my perspective or to your perspective as the camera. So proceeding in your life regarding the other set of cards had to deal with some internal money struggles, and the seed of money in the head, and the queen of money in the heart. She was upside down. We see that there's some dissatisfied love in this, and we see that there's dissatisfied travel. We see that there's bondage, which is always dissatisfying, and these two seem to have no clue. They're just hanging out. So somehow they have become complacent. We see that the hangman is upside down. In this case, he appears to be right side up, which can't happen, or he would fall off the tree. It is good that there is still, in both cases, we do see sunshine. We have the hangman. He is still illuminating, though diminished. We have the sunshine of love, though is diminished. We have Joseph's chariot. We see that it's yellow background, so it's assumptive that it's the sunshine. It's light. There is light and life, and it's diminished. But then we have this counteractive card of the devil, of which, thankfully, he is diminished. So let's take a look and see what we have next. So we have a strength card, being yellow, and strength is diminished. So I can pull it down for you a little bit. And strength is diminished. So we have another card of dualism, and that's the High Priestess. She is the high magic card in relationship with the Strength card. So these two tend to work together well. Your Strength, again, is a Sunshine card, which is good. And it goes with your other 3 Sunshine cards here. So there is life in this situation. There's duplicitous, 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 duplicitous. Let's see what's going on. So we have Justice that's upside down, but Justice has some sunshine, some life in him. So this Justice is about a type of judgment of balance. So there's a judgment of balance that is not taking place well. And we notice that happened to be the Knight of Swords upside down in the last hand, and he was rushing over to the King of Building Projects. So there again is your unbalance. So we have the Wheel of Fortune that's upside down. So the Wheel of Fortune, and it has the 4 living beasts on it, which is again another representation of the time that you are in now. There is the 4 living beasts along with the wheel and the tarot and Torah, meaning of the word and the law. So going from this set, the time is troublesome. Troublesome because of having the Knight on the left foot upside down rushing to the King of Building Projects. He's a building project manager, and he wasn't looking at the Knight. He was looking a different direction. So that does concern me. Then having tree symbolism here and strength symbolism, they are both of strength, they are upside down. That concerns me. You have all of your duplicitous cards, but all but one of your duplicitous cards are upside down. So there's a duplicitous by the pillars, duplicitous by the people, and by the little sphinxes there. Let's talk about this High Priestess that's you at the moment, and she does have things under control. She is setting between black and white columns, representing your black and white situations of what we have. Where should I go, and how should I do it, and how should I proceed? A good thing that she has the moon under her foot, and that moon is of mystery and of dark illusions. So she has that under control, and she's right side up. So for a right side up card, you have a very beneficial one. In the direction in which to go and how you should proceed without being facetious, I would say proceed very cautiously. Whatever decisions are being made regarding the money in the last card and the travel and your inner female strength and the relationship in which you're in with some kind of love, I would say be tremendously cautious. We didn't ask about a reading of the future, but the future is very flexible. Even the past is slightly flexible, and I would say consider another reading shortly of determining a different outcome. But a good thing is in these 2 balancing cards, you have Boaz and Joachim that are here, and that she has kind of part of her High Priestess duties fully under control, is helping to offset the fact that you had the Wheel of Fortune upside down. This again could deal directly with your fortune from the upside down Pentacles Queen. So I'm seeing that is what's called ill-favored or dissatisfied. So there's an issue on that aspect. But this High Priestess does give some good balance to this one here. So Cinnamon Chick, I hope this does give you some good insight into how to proceed. And I know you asked for probably a more positive reading because you've had a rough week. And well, I think any insight on what's going on in times of good and trouble are very much worth it. So I'm seeing that truly, though these are some pretty hard cards, they're giving you great insight on how to proceed. Definitely there's relationship, money, and just fortune is something that is kind of a randomized picking. So be very careful about your inside voice. Listening to the inside voice appears to be upside down. The inner voice, justice, is out of balance. So in your favor, Cinnamon Chick, I would say you take this High Priestess and you talk with her and you try to work out the issues that are going on and proceed very cautiously and carefully in the matters of money and intimacy and in fortune events, randomized events. I hope this helps you, and may you be greatly blessed. This is the Tarot Guy.